I want you all to see this story from the New York Daily News, and I want to make sure we give you all the nuance in understanding it. Just 10 violations so far under New York City's vaccine mandate for businesses. 10.
It's the golden chalice at the end of the rainbow.
Now, you could say it's because everyone fell in line immediately, so there's nothing to enforce. I don't think that's true. Let me read a little bit more to give you the full nuance, and then we will provide you with witness testimony backing up what I'm saying. Now, it's not just 10 violations. They also say there were 21,000 inspections, so they are actually trying to enforce this.
21,000?
Yeah, inspections.
Wow.
5,800 warnings were administered for issues related to the vaccine mandate, including failure to post written policy on premises. But failure to post policy is not the same as actually issuing a violation to somebody because they didn't do it. 10 means they either are unwilling to or incapable of enforcing this. Now, let me ask someone who lives in New York. Well, you don't live in New York, but you are frequent to New York very often.
Yes.
Tell me what's going on.
I mean, I go there for weeks at a time, and honestly, I haven't seen any business promoting these mandates.
That's awesome to hear.
I really haven't, but I live in, like when I go there, I stay in old school Brooklyn, and I've never, if anything, I've seen people with signs that say, the whole, we don't discriminate with sex, race, gender, sexual orientation, and then it says on the bottom, or vaccination status. Like I've seen more people putting up those.
There was an activist I retweeted. Forgive me, I forgot your name, but he put up these flyers. He was handing them out to businesses, and businesses were like, yes, we'll do this. And it started, that image started with One Like Deli, I think it was on the Upper West Side of New York. This is Manhattan. And then an activist went around handing them out. And now, so you're saying you see more of those than the other signs?
I do. I see more of that. I think that New Yorkers are slowly waking up. I mean, finally got rid of Cuomo. The person that's coming after him isn't much better. She's probably worse actually. But at least they're waking up to some of the authoritarian, socialist, communist, everything. They're waking up to it.
Hearing this story, there's only been 10 violations, hearing what you say, having been there, and then hearing that people across the country are chanting F Joe Biden, I've never been more optimistic.
The premier of New South Wales resigned, obviously for supposedly unrelated, not to COVID, but when she resigned, you see eruptions of cheering in these bars and places where people are watching. The public support for her is nil.
Well, there's also massive protests all over the world, from Italy to France to the United Kingdom to Sweden to Ireland, all parts of the United States, even protests in New York City, where there's even some reports of BLM literally marching with Trump supporters. And I saw photos of this, and this is an incredible moment. This is really a unifying moment, and we have to understand this. I still want to go to the backdrop of the last story we talked about, because social media and the big corporations, the big monopolies out there shape our reality. They don't want to show us that there's a lot of resistance to this. They don't want to show us that there's a lot of protest to this. There's a reason the Melbourne police in Australia are trying to block all helicopter footage of inside of that city so they can't show the masses of people that have assembled, coming together to literally stand up against the utter evisceration of total freedom and liberty in that country. So there is a movement happening. There is a wave. There is an energy, and it could go either way. It could go towards a positive way or a negative way. It could go total enslavement. Anything can happen at any moment. But this is go time. This is, again, one of the reasons why I'm here right now, because I see it, I know it, and this is the cornerstone moment right now.
Here.
Luke calls me up and he's like, Tim, haven't been on the show in a minute. And I was like, I know. And he's like, but it's got to that point. And I was like, I know. And he's like, I'll be there.
Was that the call?
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to go. No, sorry.
No, and then Luke just slams into drive and here he is.
There you go. Magic.
I was going to say, talking about the cults going back and social media controlling everything, I actually have a video coming up about how, if you just look at the psychology of a cult, it's fairly obvious how they're doing this with young women. Again, my videos focus on women most of the time. There's 5 things that cults focus on. One of them is, or rather, the people that they go after. Those who want to feel validated, young women. Those seeking an identity, young women.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are more followers, not leaders, unfortunately, young women.
Yeah.
Which is why I continuously aim to empower women. Those who constantly blame others is not necessarily young women, but it's young people.
Yeah.
And people leftists, yeah, people who have very low self-worth and people who are very angry are very easily influenced and become are the most likely people to be involved in cults.
Yeah, if they can make you hate yourself, they could change your perception about how you see yourself. They could change your perception about how you see the world.
Yep.
And that's another gross power that they have been leveraging, that they have been pushing, that they have been manipulating. There's a reason, again, big tech social media, YouTube even, Twitter, Facebook, who was their first targets? Cultural figures, people, independent journalists, people that were providing information, people that were going against the agenda. Meanwhile, there was ISIS on the platform. There was Taliban on the platform. There was people that were hurting children on the platform. There was people that were exploiting children. That's not for our safety. And now they have the gall to tell you, we need to fight medical disinformation for your health and safety. You're the one causing people to be depressed. You're the one causing people to commit suicide. You're the one causing people to hurt each other. You're the one literally causing havoc and pain on the rest of the world. You have this at your fingertips. You knowingly are doing this. And you're telling me I can't even question the medical establishment? I can't even question Pfizer that has a criminal past? I don't want to get this show in trouble. I got a lot more to say. And
we can rag on Pfizer all day and night.
I want to clarify.
Pfizer's trash.
You say that they're causing it, and the argument they're going to give you is we're not causing it. Other people are doing it, and we're just a platform.
Then why
that's
do they
allowing
manipulate the timeline?
Well, let me explain. If you go in the middle of the street and you sit down and block traffic, you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there. But you're actually doing something passively by blocking traffic. So them not solving it is them doing it.
It's not just that. They carefully curate what you see. They make sure your perception is shaped by what they want you to see. Voices that they don't like, that go against their agenda, that go against their narrative, they get censored. They get shadow banned. They get demonetized. Their infrastructure, their businesses, their way of living literally gets taken away from them.
Let me just throw something out there. So we've got right now watching 41,605 people. And last week when we had on the founder from Library, a competitor to YouTube, boy, were our views down, and people were complaining they couldn't find the podcast. So when you have a title on a video that says like Facebook was taken down, which is the title of this, featuring YouTuber and YouTube's like, this is fine. There's no red flags here. When you have an episode where you have the name of the founder of Library, a libertarian New Hampshire Free State Project guy, all of a sudden we just no one's getting notified that we went live, and you see how it's played. You got to be careful, right? So most of you have heard this from me before, but for those who haven't, eBay, this is the eBay story. I know, bear with me guys, for those who haven't heard it. Have you ever heard the eBay story?
No.
So when eBay started, it was yellow. Maybe this story's apocryphal, but it was yellow. And then one day they said, we're going to make it white. But then all of a sudden, all of their users revolted. And they were like, it's awful. It's too bright. I don't like it. Make it yellow again. So they changed it back. But then every day over the next year, they shifted it one shade towards white. Then within a year, it was a white website and no one cared. Facebook noticed the same thing. And remember in the early days, Facebook would roll out this update and everyone would go, everything's all different. I don't like it. So they started updating only one thing at a time for different groups of people, so that people would be like, hey, did you notice this change? No. Okay, whatever, I guess, to stop the shock. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what they're doing with censorship, especially on YouTube and other platforms. So, we'll try to use it to the best of our abilities before that happens, but they don't outright ban people who are having conversations within the rules. They just make sure certain conversations can't be heard. They'll downrank conversations that may threaten YouTube, and they'll ignore things that they think has no relevance towards it at all. Alex Jones, of course, gets completely nuked off the platform for year-old comments or whatever. He gets sued for decade-old comments or whatever. They really go after you if you're really actually threatening the machine. And Alex Jones was influential. He does say a lot of kooky, crazy things. He does say a lot of crazy things that turn out to be right, but he was influential in helping Trump get support.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I was going to say, no one has anything to say. Everybody agrees with it.
I'm looking at Luke.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, looking at Luke
thinking about
too.
the slow boil tactic.
That's what I was going to say about the frogs.
The gay frogs?
No,
or
not
the
the
boiling
gay frogs. I was thinking the
Boiling
same.
frogs.
I was going to say the same thing. If a frog will jump out of the pot if you put it in boiling water, but if you leave it in, it'll cook itself. If you boil it slow, if you do it slowly, it'll cook itself to death. I was thinking the same thing when he said that.
Someone super chatted us saying that wasn't true.
I don't know, but it's still a good say. It's still a good concept, even if it's not true.
We've got
because it makes sense.
We have people in the super chat who are like the comic book guy from The Simpsons. Actually, Tim, the thing about the frogs isn't true, and we accept those corrections. Thank you very much, good audience. There's also
Oh, I think this social blacklisting, I'm still interested in what you're about to say there, is devastating. And that they can do it in private is really unethical.
Oh, yeah, dude, people's private DMs, private messages.
That you could I could text you on Facebook about like a medication that's on some blacklist word, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're going to downrank Crossland's stuff from now on. So we're going to make him see a tenth of his followers will now see it instead. But I don't know what happened. That's madly unethical. I know they're a private company, but I also know they have 1.8 billion users per day. So it's kind of a common public company as well.
Well, we know what they're censoring, but let's talk about what they're promoting. They're promoting mainstream media trash. They're promoting a lot of garbage. They're promoting a lot of fake news. They're promoting a lot of disinformation that has been knowingly corrected, that knowingly was brought out in false pretenses, that knowingly misled the general public, that knowingly led to harm in many instances. I mean, CNN, there's even arguments to make against Fox News, MSNBC, all the major big channels ran with fake news that had major implications on people's lives and existences, and they never felt the ramifications of it. I sneeze the other way, and I have to look out to make sure my video doesn't get rated for as an adult content and age restricted because I showed a video of a police officer being too close to another person and scaring them. And I'm like, this is absolutely absurd. They play by a different set of rules, and they want to make sure that you only are able to listen to the narrative. You're only able to listen to Anderson Cooper and whatever other celebritard they have for you that they push in front of you that is willing to regurgitate their talking points and do whatever for a paycheck. And that's exactly what we see.
I was going to say, I'm living proof of that. I think that I've been making the same type of content for 10 years on YouTube. As sexually explicit as it gets. You know what I mean? Talking about sex, talking about relationships, reviewing sex toys and stuff. I never once got demonetized by YouTube until I came out as leaning more conservative on certain issues. Not once.
When did it happen?
And then right after I came out. Right after I came out I didn't even come out as conservative. I came out as leaving the left. That's all that I said. I'm no longer a part of these people. I do not want to be involved with them. I think they're a cult. I said that kind of stuff. Tim actually helped me write the script for that. Thank you, Tim. And Sydney. I said I don't want to be a part of these people's, narrative anymore. I don't agree with mostly anything they say. And I got demonetized a month after that. And then I was monetized for like 3 months, and then I got demonetized again, and then I got demonetized again. And for sexually explicit content. My videos got less sexually explicit over the years. So how does that make any sense?
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.